So good afternoon, everybody. My name's Phil Reason, CEO of Instem. I'm at the conference today with Nigel Goldsmith, our CFO. If you'd like to learn some more, we're on stand number 14. I'm quite a big believer in coincidences, and it's a total coincidence that we follow Aleco as a presentation. I don't really know them. I don't know the CEO. But I can certainly vouch for one bit of their business. They're a strategic partner of ours. We tightly integrate their Aster Power project software along with some of our software and supply it into a totally different industry. So would you believe it? We just happen to be following them today. We're in a very different market. We are in the life sciences market, but another IT vendor. So we specialize in the provision of systems that are used in life sciences R&D, a particular specialization in the collection, the analysis, the management, and then ultimately the submission of electronic data to regulatory authorities. We have a particular focus in the early development area of research and development, quite a broad area, and so for a business of our size, quite important to focus in areas that we can lead and dominate. We deliberately pick market niches that are of a size that we can dominate globally or lead globally. It's very much a global industry, as I'm sure you're aware. You see a sort of small microcosm of our many clients on this picture. Instem has been in business for a good number of years, and there's 3 or 4 examples there of clients that have been part of the Instem community for 30, in one case 40 years. And you see a sort of another good example on that list of clients. A different type of business, Charles River Laboratories. It's a contract research organisation to who the pharma companies increasingly outsource key parts of the research and development process. Charles River is our single biggest client. They have 2,700 users of our software, and we are managing day-to-day, minute-to-minute, a vast majority of Charles River's business. As it's very much a global business, although we are originally based out of the UK, about 60% of our business now comes from the US. I moved out to the US in 2003 because a lot of our client growth was there, and certainly as we look at acquisitive growth as well as organic growth, a lot of the acquisition targets for us as a business are in the US as well. Increasingly, as the research and development side of life sciences expanded internationally, work is starting in various parts of Asia. Japan has always been strong, but China is expanding, Korea is expanding. And to ensure that we can adequately support the existing clients that we have, multinational clients, but also new clients, in the last 5 years we've set up operations in Shanghai and in India, as well as having a sort of a deep relationship with a partner who distributes for us in Japan. As a business, one of the things that we feel is sort of very attractive about us to our client base and hopefully to you as investors is a very strong financial. It'll come as no surprise for a business that's been selling software for many years that a lot of our customers bought software the way people always bought software. They buy it as perpetual licenses. They would install it in their own data center, and then they would pay us an annual maintenance and support contract each year to continue to support, issue new versions of the software. And many of our clients, our established clients, are still like that. We enjoy fantastic recurring annual revenues from those clients. Generally speaking, when somebody buys our software, they use it forever, unless they close a facility down. Because of the highly regulated nature of the work that we are supporting, it's terribly difficult to switch off our software and lose access to to data that might form part of a regulatory submission that you're still to make in 3 or 4 years' time. Those clients are very important to us. They're the source of future revenue for new products. They're the source of a huge amount of recurring revenue. It'll also come as no surprise to you that as a software business today, our focus is actually on software as a service delivery rather than perpetual licenses and annual fees. About 50% of all new clients today would purchase software as a service. We provide it on a subscription basis. And from a client's perspective and from Instem's perspective, it's not just that smoother revenue model that we like. It's the fact that we're taking control of that software. No longer are we a bit of a victim of having new versions of our software, providing it to our clients, and our clients putting that software on the shelf and continuing to use old versions, requiring us to support multiple versions, and even worse, we introduce a brand new module which we'd like to sell to the clients, and they're on an old version of software with which it doesn't integrate. All of those problems go away when you switch to a software as a service model. Our clients actually love it. They let us take control of that environment. We move them up to new versions at a time that's convenient to us. All of our clients take the benefit of new features and functions, and the whole software as a service model, as I'm sure you're aware, is far better for us as a supplier and far better for our clients. Those recurring revenues and the increasing software as a service are continually driving up that recurring revenue. That generates a lot of the stability and our ability to continue to invest in new growth opportunities. So it was a sort of a respectable 25% growth from 2009 to 2013. M+1, who are a Nomad, are forecasting that those revenues will go up 12% from last year to this year, and we're seeing the benefit of that increasing prevalence of software as a service delivery. I'm sure you're all aware of the challenges that have beset the global pharma industry over the last 10 years, the patent expiry, the fact that it's much more difficult today to invent new therapies that have the same revenue potential as some of the blockbuster drugs of the past. And in the sort of the 2010 to 2013 period, pharma companies have heavily focused their investment on drugs that are in the late stages of their drug development pipeline to rush compounds to market. The good news for us, with our focus in development, is that pharma companies are once again sort of reinvesting in their earlier stage pipeline. They've got to fill the pipeline at the beginning. And for us, what we're seeing is they're spending more money with the contract research organizations that do the work, and as a consequence, they're all spending more money with us on IT. The other people that can be a big boost to us as a business are the regulatory authorities. Most significantly, the FDA. Their reach is very broad across the world. And in that area, we've been working very closely over the last 10 to 12 years in a small consortium of pharma, the FDA, some contract research organizations working on a new electronic submission standard for, instead of giving the FDA a mountain of paper or the equivalent in PDF, electronic data sets to work with when they review new drug applications. I'll talk a little bit more about that on a subsequent slide. One of the other big opportunities for us, and the reason that Instem IPO'd on AIM in October 2010, was to accelerate the pace at which we could consolidate a fragmented IT supplier community to early drug development IT. It's a market that spends $600 to $800 million a year on IT applications, but there's 150 or so suppliers. So there's average revenue of $4 to $6 million. Huge opportunity for us to consolidate in that space, delivering great benefits to the clients who are now aggregating their data, and they can more easily leverage that data for their further research. Just to picture where we focus our attention, So you have sort of areas that we focus in light blue, a descriptor of the general area in white, and some of our product brands and where they're placed. So the early development process from the late stages of discovery through to the first time going humans in phase 1 clinical trials and into patient populations in phase 2A. And we don't really stretch much beyond this, and this is really a market of a size that we believe we can lead and in certain areas absolutely dominate. We have one area, this area of big data analytics, that can be applied really at any stage of R&D and actually post R&D into commercialized drugs. But there's a big focus in this area for us still in early drug development. Just to touch a little bit more on some of those product brands that were mentioned on the previous slide. So we have products that are in the preclinical space, so before going into humans for the first time. An established product, Provantis, our longest running product, still represents about 70% of revenues. It's something that we dominate globally. We probably have about 60% of the world's users of preclinical safety assessment software worldwide. There are growth opportunities. I'll talk about one of those in a minute, but generally speaking, this is a recurring revenue business where we're driving up margin growth. And what it does is it fuels our investment in higher growth revenue opportunities elsewhere. AlphaDAS in the clinical space is one of those where IT is relatively lightly penetrated in early phase clinical trials, and so is a great revenue growth opportunity. And certainly in this area of data management, electronic submission, and big data analysis, a huge opportunity for growth. In terms of recent developments, I'll just pick out two areas on here that have been very important to us in 2014. I mentioned that even within our Provantis suite that's very mature, there's still greater growth opportunities. In December of 2014, we made an announcement of winning a large contract with Will Research, a contract research organization, $7 million, the biggest contract we've ever won. So there is still healthy new business prospects out there to be won. And the other area I'll pick out is the day after we announced that award, an announcement that the FDA have mandated this new electronic submission standard SEND, where we've been developing software solutions for it through the pilot phase over the last 10 to 12 years. We've had 20 clients already purchase as they actively participated in the pilot, and that will become the required way of making regulatory submissions of new drugs to the FDA, and everybody that does that will need some sort of software solution to deliver those data sets. By this point, I think our strategy, or the threads of our strategy, are probably pretty obvious. We have a very established, dominant market position with high recurring revenues in some targeted areas, and it's all about retaining those clients, driving up margin improvement. We have some great organic growth opportunities in the electronic submissions area and in the clinical trial space. And then we have this great opportunity to look at the consolidation through acquisitions. We've successfully done 3 acquisitions since we IPO'd in October 2010. I think we've proven that we can then integrate these acquisitions successfully and have them generating additional revenues. So as an outlook, in terms of a business that has some really financially robust underpinnings to it with our strong recurring revenues, with the benefit is some potential revenue growth, strong revenue growth from organic introduction of new products into our rich existing client base, and then the opportunity to continue to acquire and consolidate, and to also then deliver some of the newer solutions in big data analytics, which I think many in the industry are hoping are going to be the resolution of some of those fundamental limitations and lack of innovation that's beset the pharmaceutical industry, another area that we are very capable of and providing solutions. With that, I'm down to my last 12 seconds. I'll wrap up. Thank you very much for your attention. If you'd like to hear some more, Nigel and I love to talk about Instem, and we'd love to see you on booth 14. Thank you.